Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I got the Moduloc figure a little while ago. I didn't really have time to really look at it or play around with it. A lot of the time, I just have to make space for the newest figures and move on because I just don't have time. And what annoyed me about this figure was if you had him with the two heads on, instead of the more sensible little neck like that, where they could sit basically next to each other, you had this big sort of extended neck that made the figure a centimetre or so taller than the regular figures. So I didn't like that because all my figures stand in boxes. They're like 6 inches tall, so I can just stack them around and move them around and stuff. And if any figures are taller than that, you can't stack the boxes on top of them. So his head was becoming a problem. I didn't want to get broken off or anything. So I thought, you know what, I'll just make him into the two characters. It'll take up more room, but it'll be easy to manage. So I went to do it, and what did I discover? There's only one chest. I'm like, are you kidding me? The original had two. So you had two separate figures, or you could have a combined figure, or you could have some, combination of the two and, create a monster. But you basically got two figures. This one you only get one chest. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a big expensive figure in a big box, and you don't get enough parts to create the two figures that the original had. So they haven't matched the original. So they haven't even matched the original, let alone given us anything extra. So I didn't realise how limited this was, and how bad that was, because I just wasn't paying attention. So what I do? Well, I managed to cobble together this sort of one by using this piece and these two pieces, sort of like a chest. It kind of looks like a weird spider creature, but it looks stupid. I mean, I want two figures. This is not a figure. This is an experiment. So besides the legs being like a centimetre longer than your average Origins figure, making him taller, and the neck joint, the only way you can have one figure with two heads is to have that. So it ends up being 2 or 3 centimetres taller than the average sort of Origins figure. Now, in order to get two separate features, you have to make this weird creature. And the other issue is, look at the gap between those joins. That is the same that's in here, but there's enough room for this to come together. This one doesn't. And it's the same with the back, I realised. I had put the tail on him, and look at the space between the tail and that. There's so much room now. That does allow it to move around a bit. If you want him to wag his tail, that's fine. But there should be like a second ball sort of gap on the inside, so you can push it all the way and have it flat up against the other part. So you can never have it separate, so you can have it move, or fully sort of inserted so that you can have it fit flat with the other part. And it doesn't come off. I mean, the tail comes off, but this part doesn't come out. As far as I can tell, it's one of the parts that doesn't come out, because it doesn't have the same, it's not the same as like these parts. I thought it was one of these and you could pull it out, but I don't think you can. I have to check the bit of information. But either way, even if you take that off, you still have a hole. So you don't get a complete figure. You get one chest, one waist with a weird join sticking out the back that you can't get rid of. The original, at least, if you remove the tail, had the part sticking out. It actually had the same issue, actually. But there was another part, which unfortunately I've put away, I think. Oh no, it was on the underside. He had like a hole. So it kind of looked like a butthole underneath him. But so I'm really disappointed by this. I didn't realise this issue existed. Now I'm like, great. Now, why is this, you ask? Well, clearly they wanted us to buy a second version. They wanted us to have to buy 2 of them to have the 2 Moduloc figures we got with the original. So if you want to display both heads with a full body, you have to buy a second figure, which is very expensive. And it's not a matter of sculpting. They didn't have to mold a separate part. All they had to do was just have 2 of it. They didn't even have to have the second waist, just the second chest. So not happy with that. It should have had more. The whole point of the Origins line was to give us the figures again, but new versions with more features or more articulation or extra elements and features and stuff. And Moduloc is a fail, and I don't understand why the legs are a centimetre taller than the Origins ones, which make him odd from all the others. And the lack of pieces. Now, the lack of pieces, I guess, are put down to money. They just didn't want to include them because they wanted us to buy a second one to profit more, or it just was more expensive and they just cut back on how many parts they had. But really not happy with that. So I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this because I hate that. I guess in theory I could cut that off. If I bought a second one, I'd have obviously the second chest and have that on the back. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be a chore to get to the point where I've just got two Moduloc figures like the original that I can stand along with all the others. And this really shouldn't have been that hard to do. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Like, you'd think of all these separate little pieces, some of these could have different lengths so they fit better in between with joins like this. So yeah, I just don't know how all this happened, but yep, I'm gonna go. Bye.